Folks are bundled up, though. Spring football's kind of become the first Saturday in November. With Tom Lugan, Bill West Durham, Taylor Davis joins us in just a second. There is a lot going on here in Chapel Hill. There's some staff changes on offense and staff changes on defense. And, oh, by the way, we got to find a new quarterback for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done in the 15 days of spring practice here for Mack Brown's North Carolina Tar Heels. But I think there's a lot of reason for optimism.
Right.
You know, when you talk to the coaches this week, one of the things that everybody brought up were the guys that unfortunately went down to an injury or that they didn't have for the full time a year ago. And those were all guys that they would have told you, you know what, we probably shouldn't be playing with these guys. And now, fast forward to this point, and you're really glad you did. And some of those young guys will be on display today.
Well, we're looking for position play. We'll talk obviously about the quarterback situation and who is the successor to Sam Howell. There's questions at running back. There's some questions in the defensive line. And there are some transfers that are going to play a role. But Taylor Davis joins us. And Taylor, one of the storylines that has developed this spring for Carolina is one that's happened off the field.
You're absolutely right, Wes, and today's spring game holds a special meaning for this program. It's being called the #Tylee Strong Spring Game, honoring wide receiver Tylee Craft, who was recently diagnosed with a rare form of cancer after dealing with several months of severe back pain. Tylee announced on social media in March the diagnosis, as well as his need to step away from football to undergo treatment. But Tylee will be in attendance here today. He's being recognized on the field, and his teammates will be wearing #Tylee Strong decals on their helmets. And guys, just like the coaches told us this week, Tylee is a fighter. He's facing this thing with a positive attitude, and the entire program is fully behind him.
All right, Taylor, thanks very much. We look forward to honoring Tylee as
How can you create mismatches?
All right, sit tight. When we come back, we will come to Chapel Hill. And when we do, the head coach of the Tar Heels is alongside to tell us about the day next. I promise you it's spring football, Tom. They're bundled up like it's November, but we welcome you back to Kenan Stadium. Tar Heels are going to start in earnest here in just a few moments, but pleased to be joined by Mack Brown. And, you're very kind with your time, you and your staff this week, and kind of getting us ready for this. I heard the word physical a lot. You're pleased with that side of it for sure, I know.
Yeah, Wes and Tom, number one, thank you for being here in ACC Network. I think it's really cool that all of the teams are getting their spring games broadcast, and that really helps us all and spreads ACC football around. We got to get more physical on both sides of the line of scrimmage at the line and the lines. And Jack Bicknell Jr. has done a tremendous job. He had 7 years of teaching in the NFL. He was a head coach at Louisiana Tech for a long time. And we're coming off the ball on offense. You'll see it. We're better today. And defensive line until they start. We got pretty guys. We've recruited really well. they got to get off blocks and start making stops at the line of scrimmage. And we have hit more live this spring than any time in my coaching career, because we're pushing this team hard. We've got better players than we had results last year. It's time for us to start being better on the field on Saturdays.
You know, Coach, you mentioned this week that you had a feeling last July that something wasn't right with this team, that maybe they got caught up in getting patted on the back a bunch, and you could feel it, you knew it. How much of that feeling and then the result of this past fall led to this new emphasis of how you were going to attack spring football?
I think everything, Tom. It led to me looking hard at the coaching staff. It led to me looking hard at me. It led to me looking at our leadership, and you teach leadership. You just don't recruit leadership, and you teach it every day. So we've tried to do a lot better job of figuring out who those alpha dogs are and getting them to step up and teaching them what that means. But I do think that sometimes you got to get kicked in the face and be a little less than expectations before you do the things that you need to do to change to get better. And I feel like we're headed in that direction.
So it's a collaborative thing. It's both sides of the ball. I think a lot of people recognize your experience, especially in the back end on defense. They understand where somebody like Noah Taylor can help you, Corey Gaynor maybe in the offensive line. But it keeps coming back to quarterback and running back seemingly, though, Coach.
Well, when you had Sam Howell and two of the best running backs to ever play college football, maybe the best tandem, big losses. And you don't replace those guys, but you have to have somebody step up.
Yeah.
And it'll be really fun today to watch some young backs and see what they do. It's going to be fun to watch these young quarterbacks because they're both very talented. And, in fact, all three of them are very talented, but haven't played. Haven't done it.
Yeah.
Unless you've been there and done that, you can't start talking about it.
You know, you referenced a year ago at the conclusion of some games, wasn't happy with how we handled third down. Wasn't maybe happy with how we handled our red zone offense efficiency. How much of those things that you went back and self-scouted did you say, okay, we've got 15 days and we've got to put these kids in uncomfortable positions so that they handle those moments when the lights are on Saturdays?
Yeah, Tom, that's all we did. Every week, we worked on situations.
Okay.
We worked on goal line. We worked on two-point plays. We worked on short yardage, and that's both sides of the ball. You got to stop people on first down so you can disrupt the quarterback on second and third. That's where you get your turnovers. We haven't done those things. It's time to do them. And then on offense, you've got to make some yards on first down. And we've had too many second longs and third and longs, and we come in and say, we're 4 of 15 on third down. Well, that's because we were 0 for 15 on first down. Right. So we've really, really charted every situation all spring to make sure that we address it. We've looked at every sack. Why? If it's a player, we got to help him or get him out. If it's a scheme, throw it out or adjust it. We're moving our quarterbacks more. We're doing a lot of things, I think, that will help our players more moving forward.
Here's the other aspect about this, too. There's no question you've done a great job recruiting in your return to Chapel Hill. It feels like the maturity of those young guys, you mentioned stepping up, feels like a lot of those guys are going to be guys that have signed here in the last year or two.
Yeah, they're going to be great players. Everybody talks about how old I am. Well, I use it against the players. I said, I'd like for you to be great in my lifetime, so pick it up. We need for you to start playing better.
Yeah.
And we've pushed them harder, and we've told them we're going to push you harder. And it's time for that recruiting to start kicking in. And I've said last year everybody talked about it. We didn't do it. We're not going to talk about it this year. We're going to see what they do.
You said you have pretty guys, but they got to play like they look, right? Has that message been well received by some of these? Because we all know as a high-profile guy, sometimes they walk in here, they think it's going to be easy, right? And they realize, whoa, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, at Texas, we started burning all the stars the first day they got there because you didn't earn any of these stars against college players.
Right.
You earned them against high school players. But I think, Tom, to be more fair, they're not only pretty, they're athletic, and they're great young people that want to do everything right. So it's our job to develop them and help them get to that next step.
All right.
I think it's on us as coaches. It's not on them. Yep. They can step up, but we got to do a better job.
Yep. You want to leave a good taste in your mouth today, don't you?
I do. I want to win. Usually, these guys are going to practice hard today. They're going to play hard today because they've done it for 14 straight days. So I'm not worried about that. We got a good crowd. It's a good turnout.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool, brisk day. We got to stay healthy. I want to see us be really physical and stay healthy. We're going to kick extra points and field goals. We're going to punt, block, and return before. We're not going to do kickoff and kickoff return because you get limited with numbers in the spring.
Yeah.
And organization is a disaster when you start trying to get it on both sides. But we're going to play We're going to put the ball down and play. We're every snap.
All right.
It's going to be game, and instead of punting, we're going to take it 35 yards to the other end.
Okay.
And our punter today is going to average 35 yards with no return, and that's regardless of whether it's in the wind or with the wind. That's what it's going to be, and we're going to go from there and play. And we have the score of the game, but more importantly, we have a score on offense and defense of if you get off the field, you get a point. If you make a first down, you get a point. If you get a turnover, you get 2 points. So if it's in the red zone, it means more points. So we're actually keeping score, offense against defense, even more than the score is going to matter on the field. And then the winner will be rewarded, and the loser will have consequences, because that's the way real life is.
I'm going to let him calculate all that.
Yeah, math is.
I explained it to the players yesterday in today's team meeting. I said, "You all understand it?" And they said, "No." We got no clue. I said, "Do your job."
There we go. Coach,
and they'll work out.
Appreciate it.
Well,
Thanks,
thank you.
Coach.
And guys, before we start, Cayman Rucker's going to sing the national anthem like he did at the Final Four. Tylee Kraft, our young man that got diagnosed with cancer a couple of weeks ago, is going to come out and be honored with some other cancer patients. So really emotional day for us as well to get this thing kicked off.
All right. Mack Brown, coach of the Tar Heels. There's more to come from Kenan Stadium. ACC Network's coverage of the Carolina Spring Game continues in a moment. This quarterback competition to replace Sam Howell is a real thing here today.
Well, and it's a real thing, and the reason why, it's because they haven't missed on the guys that they've brought in. They feel really, really good about Jacolby, Criswell, about even the youngster. And Harrell, I think Connor Harrell's got a chance watching him just throw, and obviously seeing him through recruiting. And then Drake Maye. You know, Drake Maye was the big get.
Yep. 2
classes ago out of Myers Park High School. He was a long-time Alabama verbal commitment. They steal him late, just like they stole Sam Howell out of the grasp of Florida State. So I think you have a legitimate competition that will go well into July. You talked to Phil Longo, the quarterback's coach, offensive coordinator. He made it a point with us that once we get into August, we will start heating things up with these guys. Right now, they want to get equal reps. They want to chart every throw. They want to examine everything that they're going to do, but they're not making decisions at the completion of these 15
All
things.
right, Drake Maye is 6'5", 216 from Charlotte, as you mentioned. Young man from Arkansas, Jacolby Criswell, has seen spot duty. Last year, he was 13 of 21 for 179 yards and a touchdown. There is no final decision coming today.
Right.
So what are you looking for out of both these guys? And then we'll throw Connor Harrell, the freshman from Alabama, into the mix too, but these two in particular.
Accuracy and decision making. And I think when you get to the completion of the 15 days, and as I mentioned, everything's being charted. Did you make the right read? Was it a drop? Was the ball poorly thrown, but you made the right read? Everything is being charted, whether it's 7-on-7, whether it's teamwork, whatever it may be. So when they come out here, some of the reps Drake Maye might get with the 1s. Some of the reps Drake Maye might get with the 2s. And then you're going to see Jacolby Criswell, you're going to see Harrell, and they're all just going to get mixed in. So sometimes it's not always fair.
Right.
Because you may have a set of 4 or 5 plays and you're with the 2s on offense and you're going against the 1s on defense. Things might not go your way. So now what are we looking for?
Yep.
Body language. How do you handle things when things don't go well? If you have a bad play or a bad series, can you move on to the next play in the next series and produce a positive outcome? So for me, I think they're ultimately talented guys. Maybe they can't go wrong between Criswell and Drake Maye. I think this thing's going to go deep into August, Wes. I really do.
All right, well, here's the interesting part for Carolina. It's not just quarterback. It's also the run game. Taylor Davis visits with 2 of the Tar Heel greats when we come back next. We welcome you back to Kenan Stadium, the Carolina Spring Game coming up here in just a few moments. One of the areas we'll be looking at is running backs. Taylor Davis has found 2 of the most prominent Tar Heel ball carriers of recent note here today.
I sure have. 2 guys who, in fact, did not plan their outfits, but they're still teammates at heart. I'm excited to be joined by Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, 2 guys who broke records here at UNC and have gone on to the next level, both coming off incredible rookie seasons. Michael, I'll start with you. Coming off that rookie season where you really adjusted to the league quickly, but thinking back to your time playing here, how did UNC prepare you for the NFL?
Yeah, I think it's crazy because it's kind of the same thing from college where there was no running backs when I got here except Jordan Brown. Yeah. So I kind of had to prepare like that again. So it's just the journey is crazy because of what it took to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think just along the road, like having people in my corner, like all the coaches, we ran through a lot of coaches while we were here, but Coach Gillespie, Coach Smith, even a little bit of Coach Pascal, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you got guys like Vontae and Antonio and Jordan and Sut, British Brooks, all them guys.
Yeah.
So they help you through that.
Yeah, definitely. And they're now going to carry the baton for both of you guys. Javonte, coming off your impressive rookie season with the Broncos, but you come back here and get a different vantage point. What kind of advice would you give to your former teammates, this year's team, as they head into next season?
Yeah, just compete. I feel like that's what made me and Mike so good. We just competed against each other every day, and I feel like they really bring the best out of you, so just compete.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's great to have you both back. Enjoy the spring game. Guys, two guys that really left their mark on this program.
Taylor, you're exactly right. Thanks to Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, the future bright for both guys.
Yeah.
And fun to catch up with them. But it also brings us to the discussion, Tom, about where Mack Brown and Phil Longo find the run game now. Ty Chandler transferred from Tennessee. Nice job a year ago.
Absolutely.
But now you got to see British Brooks at the end. Really big ball game on a Friday night in Raleigh against NC State. DJ Jones had some moments. They're excited about Elijah Green. Kayla Hood is waiting for time.
Yep.
And then you got a young freshman in George Pedway.
And what they have is a very eclectic group. You have a little bit of a bruiser. You've got some thunder and lightning. You've got a guy in Pedway that can win the foot race. He might be maybe pound for pound the fastest player on this football team as a freshman running back. And so, you know, you take a look at their losses. You mentioned Ty Chandler, ultra productive. But I think that this is going to, until they find the hot hand,
okay.
I think this is going to be a combination of British Brooks, Elijah Green, DJ Jones, and then as George Pedway gets more and more acclimated, because the thing you worry about with true freshman running backs, can you pass protect and do you put the ball on the ground? And if you can prove that you don't do those two things, or that you can pass protect and that you don't fumble, he's so talented, he's going to play. So let's just see if this thing ends up being a running back by committee until somebody gets the hot hand.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to follow the Carolina run game for sure, and we'll keep an eye on all of it here today as the game unfolds. They got a lot of pretty football players on the defensive side
They
now.
do. Yeah, this has been a 3-year cycle of recruiting a certain body type. And when you heard Mack Brown say, well, yeah, we got to start playing like we look, he's right. And what they're talking about there is consistency of performance. And I loved how Gene Chizik put this week. He said, you know what? I went back and I watched North Carolina on defense last year. They were not a bad defense every week. But when you look at the losses, okay, you lose, you give up 45. You lose, you give up 35. You lose, you give up 44. All right? That's not sustainable. But then
right.
They would have a week here, 2 weeks in a row there. They play pretty good defense. So now they're trying to just get back to some semblance of consistency in their performance.
All right, we'll be calling some names there on that side of the ball as the spring game unfolds. When we come back, a check on the recruiting before we get ready in the spring.
Hey everyone, Emeril Lagasse here, and I'm so excited to tell you about my French Door Air Fryer 360. This is my biggest air fryer yet. Extra large 26-quart capacity. Cook with up to 70% less calories from fat than deep frying. That's a big deal, my friend. It's all about the Air Crisp technology. 360 degrees of superheated air gives you fast, even cooking. With 24 preset cooking functions, doesn't get any easier, folks. My 10-in-1 French Door Air Fryer 360s grills, air fries, dehydrates, roasts, bakes, broils, proofs, slow cooks, and toasts. I mean, this baby does it all. These French doors are a game changer. I mean, look at how easy that is. One-handed. It's super stylish and super easy to use. Every kitchen needs one of these.
Cook for your entire family in one compact kitchen appliance. Now find out how you can try Emeril Lagasse's 26-quart French Door Air Fryer 360 with 3 cooking tiers, fetch tool, air frying rack, and drip tray in your home for 30 days for just $14.99. Order now and you'll also get Emeril's Air Fryer Favorites recipe book. And we'll automatically upgrade you to our bonus cooking kit free. You get bonus number 1. the baking pan to broil and bake family-sized meals. Bonus number 2, the crisper basket for golden, delicious air-fried food without oil. Bonus number 3, the rotisserie spit set for the most delicious chicken you've ever tasted. Bonus number 4, our grill plate to sizzle succulent steaks, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, find out how you can get free shipping. This offer will not last, so call or click now to order.
You're going to love it. I guarantee it.
To order and take advantage of this TV-only offer, call 1-800-593-8225. That's 1-800-593-8225. Or go to EmeraldFrenchStore360.com. Call today.
Well, stay tuned tonight. After all the spring football is staged, Huddle After Dark. Jordan Cornette, Coach Rick, DJ Manuel, he's coaching in the Florida State game. Eric McClain's on the field at Clemson. We'll get all of the spring thoughts from our Huddle group coming up at 11 p.m. tonight on ACC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app. Tom, you cannot have a Carolina discussion with Mack Brown without talking about their recruiting class and the impact you expect.
There's no question. You see the 8 early enrollees there. That just gives you such a head start on your depth. And maybe have a couple of stars, emerge in the fall because of that. But if you look at where the players' strengths are in this class in 2022, offensive line and defensive line, and that's how you're closing the gap with Clemson.
All right, that's a look at the Tar Heel recruiting. We're going to keep an eye on those 3 guys at the bottom of the page. And we continue with the spring game from Chapel Hill. It's next on ACCN.
Welcome back to Chapel Hill, everybody, here for all the spring game action. And I am joined by another UNC great, former tight end, Eric Ebron. Now, Eric, you're actually here. You're going to be recognized today for a very special fact that you are now going to be over the tight end room. It is now going to be named after you. Yeah. What does that feel like to have made your mark on the program like this?
It's good. Honestly, I don't know how you put it into words. It's just something that you talk about when you enter a program like this, especially as a young kid with so many dreams and aspirations, so many things you want to come true, and actually making them come true. It's cool. So happy to, have the future of Carolina, football program and the tight ends especially kind of feel like, not overshadowed by me, but being in that room kind of makes it feel like, it's a standard you kind of got to live up to. So cool.
You're part of the past, and you'll now be part of the future. It's very special. All right, well, enjoy the day. A lot of football ahead. We've got all the action covered for you, so keep it locked.
One of the things Mack Brown and his team have to do, Tom, is sort out the new quarterback, because the old quarterback is arguably the greatest quarterback in North Carolina football history. 27 school records for Sam Howell.
Well, it's going to be awfully difficult to duplicate. I mean, you look at the sheer productivity of Sam Howell and his ability to throw the deep ball, make good decisions. And if you're an NFL scout or coach, you've got a 3-year catalog, Wes, a large sample size to dissect his skill set.
Well, with less than 3 weeks to go, here's Sam Howell in his own words.
Carolina down a touchdown in a goal-to-go scenario here. Howell play action looking in the end zone. Walston there, brings it in, left side, touchdown! Touchdown, Carolina. That is now 6 touchdowns for Sam Howell, a single game Carolina record.
I've dreamed of being in this position my whole entire life. So now that I'm here, I definitely just want to make the most of it. It's super cool to meet with teams, meet with head coaches that you've been watching on TV for so long. In a couple of weeks, my life will be changed. I'll be moving to a new city, and I have no idea where that is. The process has been really, really good. It's been a lot of fun just to kind of take some time to myself. It's kind of the first time in my life where I really haven't been a part of a team. Kind of just in this transition period where I have a lot of time just to focus on myself, not only as a player but as a person as well. So just trying to dive into every aspect of my life and just try to become the best version of myself. That's really what I've been working on the past couple of months.
Dirk Boyd all day to throw. Lets one go. Downs, end zone, lays out, brings it in. Is it 6? You're darn right it is. What a catch by Downs. The diving grab in the back right corner of the end zone.
A lot of my time has been spent trying to learn some NFL systems, to learn more about how they're doing things on offense, just getting familiar with the system. Obviously, I don't know what system I'm going to be playing in yet, but just trying to have some form of familiarity when I get that new playbook. So just spent a lot of time doing that, watching some NFL film, looking at defense, seeing what they're doing on the defensive side, just trying to get a lot more comfortable with the stuff that's going to be different. I've worked so hard for this, and I'm definitely blessed to be where I am, so I'm not going to stress over it. No matter where I go, what team I go to, where I go in the draft, it'll all be super exciting.
Howell to Corrales, near side, goes up, brings it down. The Tar Heels have the lead.
My favorite play was definitely throwing a touchdown in the corner to Daz Newsome against Miami my freshman year.
Howell looking, standing tall, lets it go, man there. Touchdown! Touchdown, Carolina!
I think what I'll remember most about my time here at Carolina is just the people. The people I met here are so awesome, from the coaches, my teammates, really everyone that was a part of this program. They're like family to me, and they mean so much to me and in my life. And just the students as well, the support from them. There's people around Chapel Hill, the people here are unbelievable. So that's definitely what I remember most.
Well, that's Sam Howell as he prepares for the NFL draft. We prepare for the North Carolina spring game to see if we can declare a successor in the new quarterback hunt. It's after this on ACC Network. Now, Carolina starts with a home game against Florida A&M.
Okay.
But then they go to Appalachian State. They go to Georgia State, two really good teams in the Sun Belt.
Right.
And then behind that, the Tar Heels host Notre Dame. They also host NC State. They got two home games against preseason top 10 teams.
Yeah, and I kind of, to be honest with you, I don't have a big a problem with where those games lie, because I do think you have a few primers there that give you a chance to get your quarterback acclimated.
Yeah.
Whoever it's going to be. Listen, we're not going to replicate Sam Howell's production. They're not just going to all of a sudden take the field, whether it's App State or Florida A&M, and have a guy maybe complete 72% of his passes for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns. You know what? Maybe it will happen, but the likelihood of that, it's hard to replicate those numbers. So you get some of those primers leading into Notre Dame, leading into NC State, you get them both here.
Well, the other aspect about this is you dig into their conference schedule. After Notre Dame, Virginia Tech at home, and at Miami. That's a pretty strong start for Mack Brown's team.
And listen, when you look at that game, all of those games on that schedule right there, for me, I don't even know who I'd call a favorite right now. Because this team's going to be better without the offseason of hype. You watch. This team will play better without everybody patting them on the back.
All right. Carolina getting ready to take the field here in the spring. It's like a real game. Hype video and everything.
We have music.
I know.
Wait, we're on air?
Yes.
Oh, God. Oh, look, they got smoke and everything.
I know.
If you would have told me we had smoke, I mean, yeah.
On ACC Network, we're also live for the coaches to come by and say hello.
Well, yeah, we can talk to players, coaches. It's going to be great because we can kind of go where we want.
There we go.
Oh, look, they got smoke and everything.
I know.
If you would have told me we had smoke, I mean, yeah.
ACC Network, we're also live for the coaches to come by and say hello.
Well, yeah, we can talk to players, coaches. It's going to be great because we can kind of go where we want.
There we go. And so can Taylor Davis.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely. Okay, we're gearing up for the national anthem today, and it's actually UNC football player Kymon Rucker. And guys, this is actually going to be my second time hearing him perform this. He just sang at the Final Four along with 3 other student athletes from the respective Final Four teams. And I can confirm, guys, a very talented singer performing on massive stages.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, was so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow. Kymon Rucker with a phenomenal job.
Now think about that. You Final Four, now you do a spring game? Come on. Love it.
Unbelievable. All right.
Let's meet today's honorary captains from the UNC Children's Hospital.
You see, this is the moment here on the field that Mack Brown talked to us about too, Tom. Tylee Kraft, young man diagnosed with cancer, already into a treatment program, and he's being joined by other pediatric cancer patients.
Please welcome our wide receiver, Tylee Kraft.
This is...
Let's give a round of applause and encouragement for Tylee and our honorary captain. Please direct your attention at this time to the video board for a message from Tylee.
All right, Luke, Mack Brown talked to us about this. Spring games are always a little different when it comes to scoring. There's some first down points awarded. There's some yardages being awarded, third down stops awarded. So a little skewing on the points, and that's fine. That's kind of be expected here because you're splitting them up into units, not necessarily into squads.
Right, and what you're doing is you're rewarding positivity. You make a big play, you make a good play, and then all of a sudden you don't make any plays.
Yep.
You don't have a shot to score.
All right. Now, here's the other thing. You mentioned guys to watch here, and I want you to expand a little bit on this sophomore from Charlotte, Bryson Nesbitt.
No, he's a really intriguing guy because he's a mismatch problem. And, you know, Phil Longo, who was the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss, and while he didn't coach this guy, he said he reminds me of Evan Ingram. If you remember Evan Ingram at Ole Miss, where he looks like a tight end, but he moves like a wide receiver. So when they're lining up and you can't substitute on defense, he can contribute in the run game as a tight end, but then he can flex out as a wide receiver. So really excited to see how they utilize him. Not just today, but as he changes, I think, the face of this offense going forward.
And then you mentioned offensive and defensive line play. The freshman Zach Rice, 6'6", 315 out of Lynchburg, expected to see some time in the offensive line. And then Desmond Evans is a guy we've all been waiting to kind of see.
Yeah, you know, and I think some guys mature at different rates, and maybe they're not quite as college ready as you expect them to with all the hype surrounding guys in recruiting. And I think that happened to Desmond Evans a little bit, but Mack Brown specifically brought him up unsolicited. So I'm excited to see him. And then Zach Rice. Best thing an offensive tackle who's expected to contribute can do is enroll early.
Yep. Well, Carolina's got a combination of guys they're going to put in the offensive line, but keep an eye on 65, who starts out over the pivot today. That's Corey Gaynor, the transfer from Miami here. And he's going to open with British Brooks, the running back, and Drake Maye's the quarterback here, Luke's, for first down.
Yeah, and he just won a coin toss. Don't read anything into that. Talk to Phil Longo. It's all in a coin toss.
And this is Brooks.
British Brooks on the carry.
To play out of the secondary. And look at Drake Maye here. You see they've already employed Kamari Morales, 88, as kind of one of the tight ends. And they throw underneath, and that's Josh Downs. You don't need a scouting report on one of the best wide receivers in college football, do you, Luke?
No, you don't. I mean, he's special. If you don't know where he is when the huddle breaks, you're going to have problems. The question is, who do they have to complement him? And that's going to be something that I think is going to head into the summer, into the fall. You're going to have a lot of competition because it's not like there's a lack of depth of weapons here. You just don't have a lot of guys that have played a lot of football yet.
Yep. Really the most veteran piece in the secondary out here right now for this defense is Don Chapman, a senior from San Diego in the secondary. Ra Dilworth is somebody that Mack Brown spoke up, playing one of the linebacking spots.
Mack Brown, Wes, mentioned to us that he used to think, getting 4 yards on first down was what you wanted to do. Well, now he says that's changed. Now it's 5+. Well, they've run 2 run plays. One got 9 yards and one got 7.
Maye going to cut it loose, and the catch is made over on the that's Bryson Nesbitt hauling it in front of the bench here. 8-yard throw to Nesbitt, first down for the offense. Playing Nesbitt and Morales together here, Tom.
Yep, see, that's where you create those mismatches because you don't know how to treat Nesbitt.
And Maye will just throw that away.
See, that's a smart play by Drake Maye there. He gets out of the pocket, gets flushed. You see some deceptive athleticism, but instead of forcing what could potentially be a negative play, he throws it away, live to play the next down. And that's what Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator, is looking for. Decision-making and accuracy to move the football down the field.
Here's the 2nd and 10, and this is Brooks. That's a play that's become pretty familiar in the Longo offense. Tylee Brown, by the way, on the coverage of British Brooks. Tom, couple of notes here. One, we get an early look at Zach Rice playing at that right tackle spot. He's playing alongside William Barnes, who they like at either right tackle, right guard. Phil Longo talked a lot about Ed Montelis, who's in at left guard. And then Assam Richards is the left tackle.
Yeah, they've tried a lot of different combinations up front in the offensive line, and these are the first 5 that came out today in the spring. I want to get coach's take real quick. You're giving them the first down, coach? Is that what you're doing?
Go for 4.
Go for 4, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to get better at being aggressive when we cross the 50.
Okay.
And if it's 4th down and less than 5, it's 4th and 4 here, we're going to go for it.
So you're seeing a lot more 4-down territory from a percentages analytics standpoint.
Absolutely, and you're trying to kick less field goals.
Absolutely. Now, Zach Rice, 55, the right tackle. How has he fared so far in your first 14 days of practice?
He's done great. 6'5", about 315, and he's a special player.
We'll get back with Coach here in a few minutes. He's got to set the down and distance, but you hear the analytics coming in there, Wes. He's going to say, hey, you guys go for it. We're in that plus territory. Why are we going to go for 3? We could potentially get 6. We're an explosive offense.
Well, we're going to take a timeout. They put points on the board, 4 for the defense, 2 for the offense. We'll continue from Chapel Hill. Carolina Spring Game on ACC Network. All right, welcome back with Tom Luganbill, Taylor Davis, Wes Durham. And, Tom, here's Connor Harrell.
Yeah. Well, this is, again, the coin toss, and Coach Phil Longo really wanted to make sure that folks were aware that they've all been given equal reps through the first 14 days. They got in the room yesterday, flipped coin, and that's how they determined 1, 2, and 3. The freshman, Connor Harrell, who they're really excited about. He's got a strong arm, Wes. When you watch him in pregame, it's like, whoa, for a young kid, he can really rip it.
Yep. Cameron Kelly is the guy to keep an eye on in the Carolina secondary here. They've done a pretty good job dispersing those units in terms of who will see who offensively and defensively. Kelly, number 9, is a former transfer out of Auburn who has come in here and made quite a contribution. And that's Harold. And Tom, he's versatile like that, huh?
You know, it's interesting, too, because the one difference, as much as we appreciate everything Sam Howell has done, the one difference they said that in this offense, whether it's Drake Maye, whether it's Harold, whether it's going to be Jacolby Criswell, who we'll see shortly, is they're going to move the pocket more. Yep. They're going to roll it out. They're going to have more play action, more misdirection, and try and get this quarterback out on the perimeter.
All right, so DJ Jones and Elijah Green both with Connor Harrell here. Quick throw, and that's Jones. And that is enough for the first down. Kelly the stop in the secondary. See, Don Chapman is plugged in this group too. Out in the secondary. Desmond Evans playing at the bottom of your screen at defensive end. Little shot down the field. Paysor, the intended receiver. DeAndre Boykins in coverage defensively.
Kobe Paysor, number 8. Gavin Blackwell, number 2. Antoine Green, who offensive coordinator Phil Longo specifically brought up, who they had 2 years ago, caught 31 passes, didn't have his services last year. So they're going to get some guys back that are good football players, and they got a lot of them. This is a deep receiving core for North Carolina.
Harold tried to shoot it inside. J.J. Jones was the intended receiver. Storm, that duck?
No, I think it's,
yeah, 29. Yeah, 29 Storm duck, sure. How about that? He only played in 6 ball games a year ago, by the way.
Yeah, missed all of 2020 as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that is Miles Murphy.
Big Miles Murphy. Now, Miles Murphy came into the same class as Desmond Evans, who we mentioned, and made a bit of an impact quicker than Desmond Evans did, and they feel like big number 8's got a chance to take his game to the next level and really impact this defensive front in 2022.
Yeah, we're over here on the defensive side, and you can already tell they've got a little more steam in their stride as a result of the stop there.
I'm going to go over here and get with Coach Mack Brown real quick while we're in between plays. Hey, Coach, I know that you guys decided to do a coin toss with the quarterbacks, but what have you seen so far out of the freshman in Harold?
Well, Connor's smart. He's valedictorian of Thompson High School, which is really special. I think he was 24-1 as a starter.
Yep.
And he had a high ankle sprain, the one that he lost. He's smart. He's very competitive, and he's been very accurate in spring. So we're very excited about his upside.
Good stuff. Thanks, Coach.
Jacolby Criswell is going to quarterback the offensive series here. And he's got Brooks with him in the backfield. Josh Downs and Gavin Blackwell, the receivers, to the bottom of the screen. And this is Brooks trying to find an edge. And, boy, pretty good play in the secondary. Dante Balfour handled that tackle for Carolina.
Gain of 7 on the play.
Tom, I'm fascinated by just personnel combinations and things like this. I mean, you see the value of British Brooks, but I mean, that double tight end combination we saw in the first offensive possession.
Yeah.
And then here, when you see Blackwell and Downs playing inside, and that's Blackwell on the back end, and he will slip forward for a first down off a 2nd and 3 play.
One of the top receivers, 4-star receiver coming out of high school, was able to redshirt, so he's just a redshirt freshman. And you know, when you see those 5-yard routes, those slants, those out routes, if you can make that first guy miss, all of a sudden a short throw can turn into a huge gainer.
Yep. Criswell going to sling it for Downs right here in front of me with a catch. with Don Chapman defending. Great catch by Josh Downs inside the 15.
Well, there's that arm talent that Phil Longo referenced. He called it rare arm talent. And you see this ball go up and come down, drops it right in the bucket. And great concentration, Wes, over the shoulder by their most reliable go-to guy.
32-yard throw to Downs. And Criswell's got him 1st and 10 inside the 15. And Brooks gets a couple there.
British Brooks on the carry.
The gear change, Tom, that you see here is interesting with the slow approach, the slow clap, then all of a sudden just diving through the A gap at the right side that time.
Yeah, and with Brooks there, you saw some nice patience, right? Didn't press the hole when the hole wasn't there yet. And, you know, that's all part of instincts and vision as a running back.
Quick throw. That's Downs, reaching, touchdown, Carolina.
First down, extra point. Pass is complete to Josh Downs. Touchdown.
You don't catch 101 balls by mistake.
That's a good-looking off-platform throw, a little token fake, and he's going to boot out. Watch him have to throw kind of. That's where that arm talent helps him compensate for being off-platform. Nice throw by Criswell there.
He was perfect on the drive, 3 for 3, 63 yards. The touchdown pass to Downs.
Bring it! Bring it!
This is Jonathan Kim. And the point after is good. That'll take us to a break.
UNC spring game underway here at Chapel Hill. Right before the break, a Josh Downs touchdown, something this fan base is very accustomed to seeing. Wes, like you said, 101 receptions for him last season, and because of the role he's been thrust into this season in particular, expectations continue to be high. But he says he takes great responsibility in being that guy for this team. Like you both have said, this is a stacked wide receiver group. Offensive coordinator Coach Longo said they feel very good about where they are at that position. But what Josh Downs is for this offense will continue to grow. He has high expectations for himself. He's worked a lot this offseason on his leadership ability. I think there's more to come from him.
Yeah, absolutely, Taylor. Thank you. And kind of the page turns in the ground game. Here is George Pettaway getting a start on this particular possession. DeAndre Boykin slides in from the secondary to make a nice tackle on Pettaway.
Yeah, it was a really good tackle. You see those feet like a sewing machine needle from Pettaway in the hole right there. He's got a chance. As I mentioned, when we came on air, he might be the fastest player pound for pound on this team, just a true freshman.
Connor Harrell, who looked pretty good in his first possession, back at it. A little longer throw down the field. The catch is made. Carolina on the run, and Paysor, the touchdown. It's a good-looking throw, Tom. Unfortunately, it's going to come back.
You know what I think they're going to get him on? Legal man downfield. They had that long, drawn-out play fake.
Wow.
Keep in mind, the offensive line's block and run there, so they don't give any key to the defense that it's play-action pass. Well, they're going to allow you 3.5 yards max on that, and they got him.
Adorno was guilty.
Man downfield, it was a 3.5 yard run. Talking with our official here. I had the Cotton Bowl with him with Baylor, Michigan State several years ago, and we asked him that exact same question because Baylor's doing the exact same thing in the run game.
Jeff Flanagan, well decorated referee here today in this spring game from Hickson, Tennessee. Here's Connor Harrell again. And, boy, Desmond Evans will be credited with a sack there. The coach awards the sack, Tom. Pretty good move by number 10.
I don't think it was a gimme. I think he earned it.
Yep.
And that's what they've got to do. You see him off to the left side of your screen. They need to turn him loose. He's a long, good-looking kid. I think they tried to ask a little too much of him, maybe put him in some positions that weren't the best place to fit him. Now they're saying, you know what, kid, get out there on the end and let's just turn you loose.
Well, he beat a young freshman, Wisdom Asaboro, who they're excited about, but only played 1 year of high school football. But Asaboro's had a couple of tough snaps because Desmond Evans is sitting dead red. And another sack credited to Evans on back-to-back plays here.
Yeah, Asaboro just 6'8", 332 pounds, but right now not a good matchup for number 10.
Taylor?
Like when we spoke with Coach Brown yesterday and we asked him who has stood out this spring, Desmond Evans was the first name he gave us. He specifically said, keep an eye out for how he rushes the passer. So he knows what he's talking about with the Evans.
Tell you what, if Desmond Evans, Tom, is a factor, that changes everything for Gene Chizik.
Well, it does, because they're already very excited about Noah Taylor, the transfer from Virginia, who's 6'5", 235, can play in that stand-up hybrid outside linebacker edge pass rusher role. You find somebody to play opposite, and if that opposite's number 10, you're right. They could have some real pressure on the edges.
DJ Jones back into the backfield now with Drake Maye. Maye shoots it inside. And that is a sliding catch made on the ground by J.J. Jones.
That is a fantastic catch. I mean, this ball should have been thrown on the slant to the inside. He throws this way behind Jones. That's a spectacular play there by the big number 5.
A little delay here. And really difficult for DJ Jones to get anything going. Hamrick and Javari Ritzie, a stop for the defense. You see that's Nesbitt in motion, who we spoke of at the top.
See how they're moving them around and trying to create, whether it's that orbit motion, then they set them down in the slot. You got to figure out what to do with them. So big and long. Now they put them in motion.
Yep. They're going to try and run to the motion side, and third down play will get them the first down. Boy, a lot of window dressing for, what about a 6-yard run?
A lot of window dressing, but you said you wanted 5 yards, not 4 yards on first down. There you had a 3rd and short situation. You converted a little window dressing to go along with it.
Yes, and we would have gone for 4th down if it was 4th and short. We're really trying to stay on the field, convert 3rd downs and 4th downs, but you got to make yards on first down. Here's an RPO.
Look at this.
Going deep on first down. Great throwing catch, touchdown. Josh Downs, one of the best in the country, so it makes it fun.
There you go, Coach.
Hey, tell Mack I thought he was back upstairs in the booth again.
That it does. Makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you feel like you were in the booth there for a second?
I did.
Right?
It felt pretty good.
Well, the only difference was you didn't have to catch a plane in the 4th quarter and leave and go to the airport. Right?
Absolutely. I told the guys I couldn't leave in football, but I did leave for TV one night.
That's you did.
Here's Jonathan Kim now after Downs' second touchdown catch. And, of course, Grayson Atkins did the kicking for Carolina a year ago. Jonathan Kim punches that through. By the way, Josh Downs, 4 catches, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns here in the spring game for North Carolina. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon, we've got softball, baseball doubleheader. Starts at high noon in Tallahassee. Number 3, Florida State. Number 5, Virginia Tech in the getaway game. And then off to Atlanta, where Florida State meets Georgia Tech in ACC baseball. Both games right here, ACC Network, and streaming live on the ESPN app. Now, my question for you, Tom Luganville, Josh Downs on a myriad of wide receivers returning in the ACC this year.
Right.
Boy, is it easy to say he's the best returning wide receiver in the ACC? Although, hey, by the way, the Bolitnikoff Award winner's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's in Pittsburgh, but let me say this about Josh Downs. I think he's the hardest to cover. I think he's the most difficult player to cover one-on-one on an island, and that's what scares the heck out of people. Because they're sitting there going, okay, well, do we have somebody that we could say, hey, you go take care of that guy? And not a lot of people are going to have players that can do that, right? So this is what makes it scary, and this is what the evaluation process is in spring football. How do you find somebody that can take attention away from him?
Yeah, Elijah Green in the backfield with Connor Harrell here, and this is Green. And spins off Cameron Kelly. The passes have been the flashy plays, but the run game has been steady.
Very steady.
Far.
5+ yards per attempt. They've really been patient. All of the backs are pushing the pile on the offensive line.
Harrell. Oh boy, here we go.
Coach Brown on top of it.
Yeah, did you hear that?
The official.
Yeah, he's doing it all. Calling ball plays.
That's smart, though. You know, you protect your quarterback, let him evade and show what he can do because you know you got athleticism, but then blow it dead so you don't get anybody hurt.
Yeah. They got a quarterback decision to make with 3 very different type of quarterbacks.
I know it. And like I said, it's going to bring a different dimension to the offense than they've had before.
Sure. There's Elijah Green. This is not as clearly, not as simplistic as 3 years ago when Sam Howell just won the job.
No, I mean, Sam Howell walked into a situation where he was just flat better than what they inherited, than what Mack Brown had inherited, which was why it was so important that he was able to lure him away from Florida State. And you know, now you've got, listen, this competition is going to be fantastic, and it's going to go well into the summer. And I think they're going to have plenty of positive answers.
Yeah. Quick throw that time to a running Elijah Green. And he will run into a stack, and that's Tony Grimes hitting head on, number 1 in the white. 7-yard play, and first down coming up.
Tony Grimes, one of those kids that reclassified. He actually should have been in this class, but instead played a year ago as a freshman.
Yeah. Well, played 2 years ago.
Well, 2 years ago, excuse me, yeah. Reclassified, should have been in last year's
He should technically be a sophomore now.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Petway's come back in the ball game with Connor Harrell. And trying to get to the edge, and pretty good lateral quickness got him to the corner. Dontavius Nash looks like he's slow to get up after the tackle by Noah Taylor. There is Noah Taylor making the play, number 7, the transfer from Virginia, and Nash has gone back down here. And this is the last thing you want to see in a spring game is a young guy slow to his feet.
Hop back up, ready to roll.
Yeah.
That's the head coach wanting to get out of a spring game and get nobody hurt.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? We're playing. Let's go. Let's go.
We're playing. Let's go. That's it. So here is Connor Harrell back out there again. And Elijah Green returning into the lineup. Justin Olsen to the top of your screen, number 83. 9 catches a year ago for nearly 150 yards. And there's a catch by Blackwell, and that is ruled a catch in front of Grimes. 8-yard throw.
8-yard throw. It felt like it had to travel about 20 yards to get there. It was a really nice play by Connor Harrell.
Yep.
Young true freshman evading some rush and just getting the ball out.
And Elijah Green, who is the son of Victor Green, who played several years in the NFL after playing collegiately at Akron. Cedric Gray made the tackle. Boy, Cedric Gray really blossomed a year ago. A lot of focus preseason on Jeremiah Gemmel, rightly so, but boy, Gray made a ton of plays. Big interceptions against Miami to seal wins.
They like this linebacking core.
Yep.
Ooh.
Boy, that's a big lick.
That our
Javari
boy.
Ritzie.
That was Ritzie, yeah, big number 5. Just a sophomore. You know, you look at these guys. Miles Murphy's a junior. Travis Shaw is a freshman. Ritzie's a sophomore. Keyshawn Silva, redshirt freshman. This is a young and talented defensive front for Carolina.
Yep. Tom, they got a combination in there now with Brian Anderson, who started 3 ball games last year at center. He's at the pivot.
Yep.
Keyron Johnson's at right guard. They like him. There's another play behind the line defensively. Power Eccles, the linebacker.
Man, if he can gain himself about 10 more pounds, he is a missile.
Yeah, Power Eccles is one of the guys that coaches mentioned. 25 tackles a year ago, sophomore from Charlotte. They're really looking forward to seeing him, and I get the feeling Gene Chizik and Charlton Warren and Tommy Thigpen are going to put a variety of combinations on the field. In terms of, boy, Tom, we see so much 4-2-5, some 3-3-5 now.
Yep.
In addition to the traditional packages we used to see defensively.
Yeah, and that's why you're able to see smaller linebackers holding up, because those guys can play in space and they're not having to play in a phone booth.
Okay, it's halftime. So we'll take a timeout with them in Chapel Hill. Carolina spring game continues on a busy Saturday of ACC football right here on ACC Network. Getting ready to start second half, but first, how about a check-in with the head football coach, Tom?
You got it. Hey, hold on a second. I got to get your thoughts here on the first half real quick. I know you got a conversation going on.
Yeah, Tom, I thought it was good. Very few penalties.
Yep.
In fact, the one downfield that cost us a touchdown was a freshman that's got to grow up and learn, but he got here 6 weeks ago.
Yeah,
no turnovers, which is bad for the defense and good for the offense. But no false starts. For a spring game, I think they're ready to play. They're getting after each other. It's very physical. Great stop by the first defense on a 4th and 1. Some big plays by the quarterbacks. All 3 quarterbacks have thrown good balls, so I'm pleased. I think it's good. We got about 7 guys missing on defense that aren't here today. They'll have significant contribution in the fall. Offensively, we're kind of who we are.
Sounds good. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Taylor's with Tylee Craft.
Thank you very much, Wes. Like we have talked about, today's spring game is in honor of wide receiver Tylee Craft, who joins me now. Now, Tylee, we've talked a little bit about your story and what has transpired the past few months, but I know this program is behind you 100%. Honoring you here today for the spring game, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I greatly appreciate them, Coach Brown, Miss Sally Brown, the whole team been supporting me the whole way.
Now, I know, like I said, the past few months have been a whirlwind for you, certainly had their fair share of challenges, but what your teammates told me is that you're a fighter, and you have handled all of it with a positive attitude. Where does that come from?
I don't know. I guess it comes from my mom, Coach our chaplain, Mitch. He's been going through his battles, and he texted me one day saying, keep swinging, so that's been in the back of my mind the whole time.
Your teammates also told me that you're very much still involved. You're part of the team. They're keeping in touch with you as much as you can. What does that do for you to still have this football family as you continue your fight?
Oh, it feels real good. I mean, I remember waking up early for those practices, and I hated it, but it actually felt good waking up again early in the morning to get to our team meetings and get back to practicing with the boys a little bit, just biking, just doing stuff on the side just to keep my blood flowing and everything going.
We saw a really special moment pregame as yourself and other cancer patients were honored as honorary captains and saw you all band together. What kind of advice would you give other, especially kids, going through such a difficult journey like this?
To have a normal life, to stay positive. That's one of the things that I've been thinking about the whole time, staying positive and not just being stuck in the moment of just having cancer or dealing with whatever you're going through. Just stay positive and just look for the future.
Well, man, you are absolutely an inspiration. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we're glad to see you here today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Taylor, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Our best to Tylee Craft. He has been an inspiration already to this football team, and certainly a lot of Tar Heel fans and fans across the ACC footprint pulling for that young man. 4 catches, 95 yards, 2 scores for Josh Downs in the first half of the Carolina spring game. That seems like a pretty good day's work, Tom.
Yeah, as advertised, there's no doubt. And, he's done what you would expect him to do. But what I also like is they've had a lot of guys, Paysor, DJ Jones, they've had some guys step up and make some plays in the passing game opposite. They've got to find a compliment to him to take some pressure off of him in the passing game. But, man, has he made some plays. And like I said, Wes, I think he's the most difficult guy to cover in the conference.
Yeah, well, in a league that may have as good a wide receiver packaging as any conference in the country, to be quite honest. And there is DJ Jones on the first down carry. Gabe Stevens making the play from the Tar Heel defensive line here.
Now, can I get back to one thing on Tylee Kraft? And I think it's interesting to note because Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator, put into such perspective this week. He said, we as coaches, we're sitting in an office. We can become so consumed with trying to figure out how to win third down or how to win first down. And then Tylee Kraft walks into the building, and real quickly you start to realize what's important and what's not.
Yeah. There's DJ Jones. Taylor?
Yeah, Tom, I completely echo that sentiment. It's a fantastic point, and a lot of his teammates that I got to speak with this week said that exact thing. They said, you get caught up in the grind of practices, the early mornings, to the point that sometimes you complain more than you should, and all of them seeing Tylee and how in the blink of an eye everything can change. It shifted the perspective of this entire program.
Well, he's going to be an inspiration just because of the great attitude and the approach he's had. And you could tell that from talking to coaches. I know, Taylor, you talked to a lot of players about him. It sobers up the experience pretty quick. There's a big-time throw, flag down on a ball intended for J.J. Jones. Dante Balfour in coverage. And I think Jones may have gone out of bounds, Tom, and come back in here.
Yeah, I don't think he had a chance to reestablish himself. And well-thrown ball for the most part. And the other thing, too, that he's going to learn is if he's going to run that vertical route versus press, he can't let that defender force him to the sideline because now you leave nowhere for the quarterback to drop the ball.
Right.
Those deep ball throws, I think those are practice throws. You rep it and you rep it and you rep it and you get some camaraderie with your targets.
Here's Criswell trying to cut it loose again, and there's Morales. Tell you, Morales, Nesbitt, Copenhaver, Val Edwards, the stop, 8-yard throw.
They love that group, man.
Why wouldn't you?
The tight end group, right? And we haven't talked about that with this team in the 2.0 of Mack Brown. Now they've got some guys on the inside to complement those guys on the outside.
Well, and in 1.0 Mack Brown, you had Algie Crumpler, Freddie Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had real players. And it was interesting because when we mentioned Morales and Nesbitt to him the other day, he started to light up a little bit like he did when Algernon Darius Crumpler made catches here for touchdowns. Taylor's over there talking to a guy who made plenty of plays here earlier today, and that was Eric Ebron. Holy smokes.
He is a good one.
Oh, my goodness. They got a bunch of football lettermen over here. You could make plays, Luganville. You could throw balls to some of these guys off the street.
Maybe.
I mean, Ryan Switzer makes plays. I just saw him. Natron Means could run the rock. You'd be in good shape quarterback in an alumni group here today.
Natron right there.
Yeah. Now coaching for Coach Brown.
I remember I was a ball boy for the San Diego Chargers when he was the tailback there for Bobby Ross.
Natron means business.
Means business.
He sure did. About the time Mack Brown's program turned the corner in his first iteration at Carolina was when Means became the principal ball carrier. Criswell's doing a nice job here with the offense, by the way.
One of the things you mentioned that just was talking off air with Coach Brown. That one of the things that I like about these quarterbacks is every time one of them has done something on a drive, the next one's answered with a drive. Highly competitive.
By the way, Travis Shaw, the stop there, he'll come off the field for the defense. That was a guy when he announced his commitment to Carolina, created a lot of excitement, and rightly so. 5-star. Number 3 defensive tackle in the ESPN 300. There's a throw, and that's Copenhaver. Banged out of bounds. by Cheeks. And John Copenhaver from Roswell, Georgia, former Roswell Hornet, making a play.
Really well-designed play, too. You get the tight end kind of leaked out, and Phil Longo, again, the offensive coordinator. We've talked about Bryson Nesbitt, but he said the guy opposite of him, Copenhaver, is the guy that you got. He's sneaky now.
That's Jones in the backfield with Criswell. Nesbitt in motion. And DJ Jones scores the touchdown. Jacolby Criswell, Tom, is perfect today. 6 for 6, 104 yards, but DJ Jones cashes that one in.
Little short yardage run, put it on the offensive line, and got to be pleased with the quarterback play. Like Mack Brown said when we came out of the first half, you know, hasn't been sloppy, not a lot of penalties. We haven't had false starts. Ball hasn't been on the ground, hasn't been turned over. Those are good signs.
Jonathan Kim has been perfect today on points and continues to do so. We step aside in Chapel Hill. Carolina spring game continues on ACC Network after DJ Jones's touchdown run right after this.
They're going to have a full slate on that program.
They are going to have a full slate, along with the luminaries. I mean, guest coaches, E.J. Manuel, Eric McClain, Coach Rick, Jordan Cornetto corral the guys together. Bring it all to you tonight on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app. And here is young Connor Harrell, who has been impressive.
Yeah.
January enrollee Cedric Gray touched him for the tackle. I think Josh Downs' day is done, and rightly so, Mr. Luganbill.
I think they've seen just enough of him to know what they might have. You know, if that kid keeps playing, he might have a future.
He might have a chance, yeah. I know where you're going. I am excited to see Petaway here, the young running back again.
Explosive.
Kobe Paysour has also been impressive in the receiving game. There's Petaway, kind of spinning through traffic, shook Desmond Evans.
George Petaway on the carry.
Coach, one of the things here with Coach Mack Brown, one of the things you guys talked about that was an emphasis on defense is getting off of blocks. How would you assess that today?
They're doing well. The defense is at a disadvantage in a spring game. You're not going to do anything.
Everything's base.
So you're playing base defense, and they don't ever play base defense anymore. So they're at a true disadvantage. But I thought today they've stopped the run, especially the number one defense, and they've done a lot of good things.
All right, good stuff. Thank you.
Here's Harrell again. A quick throw offline that time. He was trying to dial up Paysour.
We've got punt, 35 yards. That's 2 3. Good job, defense.
All right, so we get a shift and a change. And we'll go to the other end here after 51 plays in the books. So about 20-odd left, Tom, or so.
Yep. With the pace they're operating at.
Yep.
They'll whip through those. And Coach is so right. You know, in a spring game, you're going to have specific rules. Everything's based on defense. You're not going to bring pressure packages. You're not going to give exotic looks. This entire recording is going to be broken down by opponents in the fall, so you're going to keep it very, very vanilla.
Yeah, everybody's gotten some solid reps here today, and that's a principal objective in any spring game.
No doubt. And really, spring football as a whole, you know, you want to be able to evaluate your young guys, put them maybe into some situations where you don't know how they're going to respond, and see what you have, because you're trying to build and establish depth and find out who you can play with.
Drake Maye back. You see the combination of Green and Petaway in the backfield with Maye. Tom, he can run a little bit.
He's deceptively athletic. When you mentioned 6'4", 6'5", 216 pounds, he looks like your prototypical pocket guy. And you don't have, not everybody's got to be Lamar Jackson. He can evade, he can create and extend plays, keep things alive, and most importantly, avoid the negative play.
Right. Of course, this is just another one of Mark and Amy Maye's talented young people.
I know, right?
His dad was in the early 1980s. The North Carolina High School Player of the Year, and injuries kind of sidetracked Mark Maye, but he still led the ACC in passing yardage. And a marker down on an incomplete ball. DeAndre Boykins over in coverage of the intended receiver, Antoine Green.
Really, what's the only dropped ball I think we've seen today.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not trying to get rocked.
So a penalty and a reload here on a pass interference call. Offensive pass interference on Paysor.
That's a phantom penalty. Those don't happen.
Really?
There's no such thing as offensive pass.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know where that came from.
Spoken like a former quarterback. No such thing as offensive pass interference, Coach, according to Luganville.
Never has been, never is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like rubs and picks. Rubs are legal, picks are illegal.
Here's Maye.
Nice
back
throw.
Across the middle. That's Paysor, and that's going to be in the neighborhood of a first down. And Taylor is with number 11, Josh Downs.
I sure am. He is very into this, might I add, watching his teammates playing behind us. But thanks for coming to chat with me for a couple minutes, Josh. Looks like you picked up where we last saw you last season. Obviously a fantastic year for you last year. But you told me this week you have high expectations for yourself this season as well. Where do you feel you are in your game at this point?
I feel like I'm really getting into the groove of my game. Last year was really my first year, like playing college football for real. I played one game as a freshman against Texas A&M, but I had a full season last year, so I really got to feel what it's like to be a college football player and feel like what it's to be in the slot. But this year I'm finna expand, go play outside some, line up in the backfield a little bit. So I feel like I'm getting really in the groove of my game right now.
These spring games are always a great chance for fans to kind of get caught up on the team, see how things are going, but no one knows better than you guys do. What have you learned about this team so far?
I learned that we got a lot of heart and we got a lot of talent. So Coach Chiz came in, Coach Warren, they're great coaches. I mean, they've been there, done that, SEC schools, anywhere you can think of. So they came in here with a lot of talent and they made a lot of improvements. So in the fall, we're going to be a different team.
Now, we're getting a chance to see all three quarterbacks here today, guys that you have a lot of time with as well. What's impressed you about the way all three of these guys are competing?
All of them are composed. I mean, Drake's out there right now. He just completed a great pass, but all of them are composed. All of them have great arm talent, and they're all ballers. So, I mean, it don't really matter who on the field because even if they all get a shot, I know they're going to make plays. So I'm proud of all of them.
Well, hey, I'm sure they appreciate having a reliable target like you out there. So good seeing you out there today. Go enjoy it.
Yes, ma'am, I will. Appreciate you.
All right, Taylor, thanks. Thanks to Josh Downs.
Appreciate it, Josh. Thank you.
Josh already hitting all the buzzwords for you, Luganville. Arm talent, all the things you're looking for.
Oh, how about him? You're going to get into the scouting field, right?
Yeah. I was getting ready to say, Josh may have his own 300 here soon. Maye back across the body and a good catch. Antoine Green holding on.
That was a really athletic, out-of-the-pocket play right there by Drake Maye and keeping his eyes downfield under duress. And it's hard for young quarterbacks to do that sometimes. They get rushed, somebody's coming up into their kitchen, and they want to get their eyes down, and he keeps them up and finds a late ad.
Tell you what, Dante Balfour's made a lot of plays today in that safety area for Carolina on defense. And Maye. Sebastian Cheeks, who had one thrown over his shoulder earlier to Copenhaver, that time makes the play in the backfield. Good job. And Drake Maye, by the way, is 9 of 12 for 104 yards. And, of course, a touchdown. Here is Elijah Green fighting through, keeps his feet, and Green continues to take white shirts with him.
No dancing in Elijah Green's game. He saw that hole, put one foot in the ground, and was downhill in a hurry. I love the decisiveness. One thing, Wes, these backs, they don't dance.
No.
No, they're very, very decisive with their footwork. They get downhill in a hurry. They find the crease, and they go.
37-yard run for Green. The blue in business. Petaway trying to get to the edge, cuts back inside the 5 to the 3 before he's knocked down. Cameron Kelly coming up to handle that, and shaken up is Ra Dilworth on the play. So they will come out to, and Dilworth gets to his feet. That's a good sign.
Just a sophomore. Gene Chizik really liked him. Said he needs to gain about 10, 15 pounds. Got rolled up on a little bit, huh?
Yeah. Kind of fell on that right shoulder, it looked like. You hear Mack Brown telling the offense, let's spring game with fall game intensity. Well, Tom, we've seen, we heard a lot about physicality and things of that nature, and they've delivered on some of that here today.
Yeah, and I think they tried to incorporate some of that in their play calling.
Yep. Here's Green now. And they'll let Elijah Green try to finish this, and he does. That'll be the touchdown for the Blue. Well done by Green.
Again, put it on the offensive line, put it on the run game in those short yardage situations. What you're seeing right there, that's the whole reason why you practice what we call 9-on-7. All right, that's going to be your inside run, your short yardage packages. It's going to get physical. Going to see them pull up and throw the football in that scenario.
Here's Jonathan Kim again to add the point. And it is good. A few more snaps left to go here, and Coach Brown is going to run to a fourth quarter here, but he won't do that until we get a few more snaps in, and then they'll have just a handful for what they call fourth quarter in these spring games.
Well, yeah, no, you're giving us great TV time. We're trying to figure out, because I know you got it going on. You're going, how do I get out of here without an injury? Right? Got 8 plays.
I got 8 plays left, and then we go young ones versus young ones for 10 plays.
There you go.
That'll be fourth quarter.
I just wanted to make one thing clear. You've already gone back to your TV days today, which has been really good, by the way. You were a little rusty. You were speeding the offense along nicely over there when Phil was trying to buy another 30 seconds in the huddle, by the way.
I'd rather not have full-time conversations on the sideline. Say what you're going to say and get on the
Get them going.
Here's Jefferson Boaz, whose dad played for Mack Brown, by the way, Jay Boaz. This is a big youngster right here now, Lugs.
Yeah, he is.
And
I'll drink of water.
Yeah, puts it in the hands of Petway. Boaz, by the way, 6'6.5", 250-pound sophomore from Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. Not Mount Pilot. He's from Pilot Mountain. Went to East Surrey High School, did not play a year ago. His dad played here in the early 90s. George Petaway stays in that ball game, and here's the young freshman. Oh boy, Tom.
He's slick now. I mean, it's tough to get a clean shot on him. I think the thing.
Okay, let me ask you though. Yeah. We've seen British Brooks, we've seen Elijah Green, we've seen DJ Jones. This is a young guy who might be situational.
I think initially, yeah, because again, they might need to find their stride. I think British Brooks is he might be the biggest total package of the crew.
Right.
Then Elijah, and then we haven't seen Caleb Hood. He's been injured, but Petway's the biggest big play threat, I think, of all of them.
Boaz and a long ball down the field and overthrown.
Like there's a miscommunication there between him and the target.
Yep. Jefferson had one way and the receiver had another.
There's Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator, and he was telling them a second ago, you got one high telling them there's a middle safety.
Yep.
So you're not going to throw the ball over the middle. You're going to have to keep that up the field.
Always fascinated at the way he installs the offense for young players and the kind of the wrinkles they add along the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's Olsen in motion, and here is Petaway again. And Ra Dilworth, who is shaken up, comes back to make the play with Power Eccles. I like Eccles because he's got the cowboy collar too, Luke. Don't ever underestimate the value of having that collar.
No. The only thing that could make it better if it was a true neck roll.
Oh. Well, you don't see those anymore.
No.
But Desmond Evans chasing. Boaz had to get rid of it. And a whistle blew. So is that going to be a turnover? It is. Chris Collins, number 17, jarred it loose. Fourth quarter coming up. We're going to take a break. Final snaps of the Carolina spring game before we send you to Tallahassee coming up next.
It's been a great day of some spring football here in Chapel Hill. Welcome back, everybody. I am now joined by a couple very proud members of this UNC football staff. I have Assistant AD and General Manager Pat Suddes, as well as Director of Player Development Denoris Searcy, two guys that are very invested in this program, and we're so excited to have you both here. So, Pat, I'll start with you. This is actually your second go-round with Mack Brown, experience with him at Texas, but tell me a little bit more about your position now with the Tar Heels and why it's so special to you.
Well, it's just great to be back with Coach Brown. Nothing's changed. It's been 9 years. He's still as sharp as ever. He's got a memory like an elephant. He meets you one time, he knows you for life. So it's not every day you get to work for a Hall of Fame coach, someone that's already in the Hall of Fame. So, but I oversee recruiting, the NIL program, and liaison with compliance.
And obviously that NIL has been a heavily discussed topic as of late. What all is the department doing to continue those efforts?
Well, the first piece is teaching them how to pay taxes, which for all of us can definitely understand that. But the education piece, the taxes, they have to look at contracts. We have our law school that looks at the contracts for them. We're one of the first schools that put a collective into place with Heels for Life, which was put together by former players, former alums that do a good job of teaching our guys about NIL. And so we're set up for success with NIL moving forward.
Amazing. All right, well, speaking of alum, we've got one over here to Norris, a very proud UNC alum, 8-year NFL vet. And now you're back to pour into the current and future generation at your alma mater. How amazing is that for you?
I mean, it's great, man. This is a place that's given me so much. I always paid attention when I left. I always wanted to find a way to get back and keep contributing. When the opportunity presented itself, man, I jumped on it real quick. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm pinching myself a little bit, being back around everybody. I would say like 80% of the staff and the people in the building are still here from when I was here. So I'm enjoying all the welcome backs and welcome homes, and I'm just loving it.
It runs deep around here, I'm learning. But like he alluded to, a lot of new levels and layers to college football, a lot that these players are now having to manage and deal with. So what kind of responsibility do you feel to have this position in today's age?
Oh, in today's age, I just teach kids more so about life skills and how to deal with student life as far as like financial aid, finding housing when the time comes for them, for the ones who are ready to move off campus, and just helping with everyday life the everyday life challenges that are going to happen in their life while they're here in school. They need that support. They need guys around them that have been there and done that. I've played here. I've graduated from here. I finished my career in the NFL, and I was fortunate enough to come back and continue to give back and be around these guys, man. It's great. And what helped me find my purpose is while I was playing from 2012 to 2019, I was holding a youth camp, and from between ages 5 and 18. So that gave me a purpose that I could mentor the younger ones and provide for them, which is crazy because from being here these past couple of weeks, I done met like 3 guys that's coming on visits to the school that I seen when they was young kids in my camps over the years. Yeah. So it comes full circle, and so if I can impact those and see. Impact those little kids to see that now they're on this level with opportunities to play. Man, I know I can help these guys for the ones who will go on to the NFL. I can help prepare them for that change, and for ones who after they're done here, they hang it up and go into the real world. Just give them a heads up on what to expect and how they can handle themselves.
Amazing. Well, I know they appreciate it. We certainly appreciate both of your time. Hope you enjoyed the spring game today. I mean, guys, we've talked about it so much, how much college football has changed lately, so resources like this are incredibly important.
There's no doubt, Taylor. Nice job with that. And I think the one thing that Pat Suttis touched on right there is all of the devil's in the details, right? All of the little things that nobody's talking about with NIL, like paying taxes and reading contracts and dealing with representatives and all the different things that come into play. Everybody wants to look at it from a treetop level and doesn't realize that if you don't explain all these little things that go along with it, you're not giving the proper guidance to the student athletes. So pretty sharp to see what North Carolina is doing in that regard here.
Well, during Taylor's visit with Denaris and Pat, Kamaro Edmonds has lit it up here.
So 9th-ranked running back coming out of high school. Just a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, 3 carries, almost 50 yards. Jefferson Boaz is returned to quarterback, and he fires to the back line. Intended for Thomas Flynn. Here's another look. Boy, good-looking ball from Boaz. Yep, just didn't get the foot down. Tom Luganbill is hanging around the head coach over there.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get a couple of comments from Coach as this thing's winding down. You're going to study the tape, break it down, but what would your assessment be off of the day as a whole, just from an eyeballs perspective?
Guys, we're ready to play. We got enough players. We got to continue to coach them. I thought they looked well coached today. I thought they competed against each other. Defense was at a disadvantage because they were so straight with what they did. Kicking game's a huge part of it, and they weren't a huge part today, so we got to continue to get better there. I think we got a chance, but we're not there yet.
Sure.
We got a lot of work to do, and these guys have been so positive and had such a great spring. It's going to be fun to watch them in the fall.
You know, it's a new world order in college football. You know that as well as anybody else. You got to get through spring ball, and, you know, these kids are counting reps. They know where they are on the depth chart. So you're going to have the transfer portal discussions. How do you embrace that, and how do you touch on that with the kids so everybody knows exactly where they stand?
Tom, we're just very honest. We tell them, here's what we see. We show it to them. We don't just tell them. We show them on video, here's why you're playing and here's why you're not. And here are the concerns moving forward. Let's see what we got here. We got a 4th down, so we're good.
We're kicking it.
Going for it.
Oh, going for it. Yeah, we're going for it.
But I think the biggest thing is modern day, these guys want you to be honest with them.
Yeah.
We said don't stay and be mad. We're going to play the ones that give us the best chance to win. You give us 100%, you give us everything we've got, then we'll decide whether you can help us win or not.
Yeah.
If you're upset that you're not playing and we don't think you should be, stay for your degree, because this is a great degree at North Carolina, and then we'll help you go somewhere else and help you learn to play.
Fantastic. Coach, thanks for all the information today. A lot of fun in the spring game, obviously, but all the inside information and just allowing us to have this access has been fantastic. We appreciate it.
Now we're in.
Oh, I tell you what, you guys better get out of the way.
Well, Wes, that's where the new knee for Mack Brown comes into play, right?
I want to tell you, Jake Harkleroad almost took out Mack and Luke's. Let me tell you something. Jake picked off that pass, and the next thing I know, you and Mack are doing the East Street Shuffle. Holy
I'll tell you what, now there's athleticism and then there's athleticism.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what that was not athleticism. That was bailout.
No.
Holy
That's
smokes.
2 quick twitch athletes just finding a way to get out of
2 quick athletes, yeah. It's exactly what it was. Yeah, this on the field for spring games seemed like a real good idea till then, doesn't it? Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, man, that was good.
I liked his explanation, though, when I asked him directly about transfer portal, because that's the reality right now of college football is you can't keep everybody happy. So let me tell you what you better do, and I think this is the other thing that people have got to realize. You better be honest with them when you recruit them so that when you're being honest with them while you got them, they believe you.
Well, I don't know if they're going to snap it once or twice here to finish up, but they're right around the number they talked about in terms of snaps for this. Maybe 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, they were at 63 before they started the final 10, so they're going to be right where they're going to be.
Yep. So right in the neighborhood.
See if they take a shot downfield.
Yep.
Why not, right?
Yep. Well,
give the youngsters a chance to zip one down.
Those of you standing by have been watching a full day of spring football on ACC Network. Bill Roth, Forrest Conley, Larisha Harris standing by. They've got the Garnet and Gold game. And Gene Deckerhoff, by the way, who retires after today as the legendary voice of the Seminoles, is going to visit with them during the course of the game. So stay tuned for that, plus NC State and Pittsburgh still to come.
I want to know what his critique of E.J. Manuel's coaching skills is going to be.
Who, Gene's or Bill's or Forrest or whoever?
All of us.
All of us. No, I think E.J. was ready to embrace. There's Jeffrey Saturday, by the way.
Oh, boy.
How about that?
Yeah.
Young wide receiver from the Atlanta area, Decula. I know Jeff somewhere maybe smiling broadly on Jeffrey's catch.
Man.
Another one of those guys.
I played against Jeff and then coached against him when he was an Arena Football League player. How about that?
Yeah.
Talk about a path to a great career.
Path to a Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
Well, so this could very well be the final snap. Kamaro Edmonds has come back in to work with Tabor. And that ball is incomplete, intended for Thomas Flynn. All right, Luke, here in our last minute, what have we seen today? What do you like? What do you think? Obviously, the quarterback, running back situation will be resolved somewhere along the way in camp once they come back in August.
And they're not devoid of talent. I think that's why there aren't a lot of concerns around here. Right now, obviously, you got to find an answer at quarterback. I thought all three of the kids that are in contention played really, really well. And what I liked most is it was a clean game for the most part. Mack Brown mentioned he felt they were well coached. I thought they were too.
Yep. Tell you what, great to be with Tom Luganbill, Taylor Davis, our producer Lauren George. Thanks to everybody here at North Carolina for their support. Tallahassee's our next stop on the Spring Football Saturday.